Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of our hearts echo the beating of the drums. When tomorrow comes. Vive la Révolution! Vive la France! So what if the French Revolution didn't happen exactly the way we've been told? It's 1787 in France, and Joseph Guillotin, the future inventor of the guillotine, is a doctor, and he discovers an unknown virus. This virus is quickly spreading through the aristocracy, and it causes extreme aggression towards peasants. So obviously, the people, the regular people, they don't appreciate this much, and so rebellion begins to brew. I really like how they reimagine the history for this. Now, right from the very beginning of the series, they give clues as to maybe what could be going on. They don't confirm anything in this, and it leads your mind to go, I wonder if they're going this way, or I wonder if they're going this way. The cast is really good. You have a big mix of characters, and a lot of them are strong-willed, which is needed when you want to create some drama and some conflict. Now, the chemistry between them is also good. There are a couple of characters, though, that remind me either of Harvey Korman's Count de Monet, or even Joffrey from Game of Thrones. And I'm not saying that these are detriments to the characters. I mean, I liked it because they were just so flamboyantly bad and evil. There are 3 actresses in this where I had to keep doing double takes because they looked so similar, especially when you put them into shadowy areas or when they had hoods on where you couldn't absolutely see every single bit of their facial structure. Now, when you put them side by side in certain scenes, they're totally distinguishable. I mean, you can tell who's who very easily. But when it was just one and it was kind of in the shadows, I had to sit there and go, wait, is this? Oh, okay, yeah, this is who is talking now. In addition to this being a historical drama, there's an element of romance and some mystery and some really cool action scenes thrown in. The fight scenes are choreographed really well. And not only do we have just hand-to-hand with fists and sometimes guns, but you also have sword fights. And so that's really cool to see. And I like how they speed up the shutter speed of the cameras so that you don't get a lot of motion blur as our characters are actually duking it out and fighting. And that just, I like that because it's hyper-realistic, I guess. And it just looks really cool in those sequences and in those areas. Other times, though, you have the regular, just what you're used to seeing visually. And so you have, just the regular blur of a horse running or anything like that. The scenery in this is stunning. I mean, from the countrysides that you have to these giant castles and manors, even to the grittiness of the streets. I mean, it's all built and captured really well, and it helps to give you a sense of the environment in which you're in. Now, even though this is a little slow in spots, I do appreciate how they were building the story. They show the mounting dissatisfaction of the regular people who are beginning to starve, and they just don't have a lot of services. They don't have a lot of people looking out for them. And so the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and that divide is getting greater. And then interspersed through all of this, you have Guillotin, who is trying to find a cure to this virus that is just ravaging through people that isn't even well known amongst the people yet. Now, when you look at the story, there is a part of it that is a bit far-fetched, but I like that there's also an air of plausibility to it because they tell history how we remember it, but then they throw in a slight little twist. And because it's just slightly off-center there, well, okay, yeah, I could see how this could have happened. Sort of. But also when I talk about reimagining of history or retelling of history, don't think of this as some Tarantino-esque type of retelling. I mean, they're not rewriting the history. They're just taking certain elements of it and tweaking them just a little bit. I really like how the series also takes a look at what people are willing to do to either attain or keep their power. It asks what's the cost and who is going to choose power over something else. And what I really like too is that this question is also posed about the peasants, the regular people, because it's not just relegated to the nobles. And so it really does ask it of everybody. What are you willing to do? And what are you going to do in order to gain power? This is 8 episodes long, and each of them are about 45 minutes. Some of them go by pretty quickly, and some of them you feel the time a little bit. Overall, though, it's a fun ride, and it's a good look at how history could have been. The end of this season sets us up for another, which I really like, especially because there are a few questions and mysteries that haven't been resolved. They haven't been wrapped up yet. And so it does leave me very intrigued for how they're going to progress in season 2. There is sex, nudity, some profanity, and a lot of bloody violence. I give La Revolution on Netflix 3.5 out of 5 couches. Is there a historical period that you would like re-envisioned and told through a different lens? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for catching with me.